calypso, forget the funk and the disco. A little more limbo, a little more shango. Climb the greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maple.
Good evening once again, and welcome to another episode of We Culture. It is Thursday evening, and that's when we delve deep into our way of life. Yes, indeed, the things we do, the things we say, the things we eat. Yes, indeed, everything that, is part of our daily lives. And this evening, a very interesting one. We are in the season of independence. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of activities happening this weekend. Last weekend we had some, and they continue, of course, climaxing on February 7th. Yeah, this Saturday, in fact, the Independence Calypso competition will take place at the St. Patrick's Bus Terminal. Yeah, and some 14 Calypsonians will be going up against the defending monarch, Jermaine Simon Superstar. And I can tell you, listening to some of the Calypsos, they've really put out some good ones, and I think the competition is going to be really exciting. Whether or not Superstar can defend, well, she says she is, she's going in faith. Yeah, man. So we're going to see how that happens. And of course, we have coming up National Colors Day. I'm hoping we will get to the point where we can have a National Oil Dung Day, where all over Grenada is going to be oil dung and more oil dung. But we do have the GBN Oil Dung Fest taking place on Pearl's Airstrip this Saturday from 10 o'clock. Yeah, and it's all day. Oil dung from 10 to 8 in the evening. It's oil dung. And there's going to be different categories. Seafood oil dung, the most creative oil dung. There's going to be oil dung with veggies. There's going to be, you name it. Yeah? So we're looking forward to that. And everyone is invited to come down and be part of that. So, that being said, we welcome you, our viewers on GBN Television, 711, our friends on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also our listeners on K105 FM. It is indeed a pleasure to be back. We have a very special guest with us this evening. Yeah, as I was reliably informed, our guest is a fountain of information when it comes to Grenada's history. And so we're looking forward to him sharing a lot of that information with us. Doc is here, and so let's welcome them. Doc, good evening. How are you doing, man?
Hey, I realize that my light is not on. I'm good. You need to give me a time to put on my light. I'm good.
Put on your light?
Hey, I'm dark. I'm in the dark. I'm too dark.
Doc, so, a little more oil in your lamp to keep it burning, man. What kind of thing is that?
A little more light.
Yeah. So, put your light on, man. I can talk. So we have with us Mr. Delbert Braveboy, and Delbert, can you turn your camera on so we could ensure that all is well on your end? We'd like you to turn your camera on, please. Yeah. So he's with us, and hopefully Scholar and Reece will be joining us shortly. Yeah, we have the word for tonight, and of course, once Scholar comes in, he would drop that. So we're looking forward to that part of it. Yeah, and the past couple of weeks that has created some real excitement. In fact, from last week's program when we looked at the word grap, a gentleman called me and he said, boy, listen, I've been trying to get hold of you all week since the program, because apart from coconut, there is something else that you can get a grap in, because we were struggling to find a grap or something. And he told me, boy, he said, listen, you could get a grap or gugu. Now, I have a feeling probably me and Doc alone know what is gugu, you know what I mean? But it makes sense because it's from the same palm family, coconut kind of thing. So Agrapa Gugu does make sense. And I want to, while on that, I want to kind of expose a little secret on Doc. I mean, it's my partner, my family, we come out in the same place. But Doc is the only man I know that could climb Gugu tree. So that is Doc, tell them you used to climb Gugu tree and take that one.
I can't even climb mango tree.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a famous story. There was this man who used to call him Cat on the Gugu.
Yeah.
I don't think you know that, man. You wouldn't know that, you know. You wouldn't know that story. Anyway, he was noted, well, they said he climbed on a Gugu tree to hold a manico. Cat on the Gugu. His regular name was Saville. Well, you would know Saville.
But how you been? But Saville might in a home and to me, I know Saville.
So I still trying to phantom that, you know? To climb a Gugu tree to hold manico. Cat on the Gugu.
But let me tell you, Saville had a technique.
Yeah?
Saville had a technique. So Saville used to talk to the Gugu prickle, the Gugu and them, the prickle, you know. And when Saville ready to climb, instead of talk to the Gugu and them just lying down, you know. They just lying down and then he got the Gugu tree. So he wasn't a case. Don't figure he just holding Gugu tree and just climb up. So he had a little thing where he talked to the Gugu and the Gugu them prickle and them just lie down. And then he go up the Gugu tree.
All right.
Organize what he had to do. When he come back down, them Gugu. You know, you have a plant like that. When I forget the name, it'll be on the ground, you touch it and it just close up. You go and sleep.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Shit. Just last week, we dealt with that plant because I'm working on that program where we're going to show that plant. There's called the sleeping plant.
That's right.
As you touch it,
it's called Mimosa Pudica.
Yeah.
The what?
Like I do myself. Like Dr. Guy do myself.
Yeah. Right. So, well, Finley, good night, man. How you doing?
How do them? I'm jamming, I'm watching all them.
You watching us?
Yeah. I'm watching it to Tivoli at home, man.
Yeah, wait. Oh, don't watch us, so, you know. We are real powers and things in Tivoli, you know, skills and things, you know. So, don't watch us just so, eh? We specialize in other things. So,
They had Google tree climbing skills.
yeah, but we were just talking about Saville. They used to call him Cat on the Gugu.
Yeah.
Might used to climb Gugu tree. Yeah, man, definitely. So we have with us Mr. Brave Boy, Delbert Brave Boy. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm okay, sir.
Welcome to the program. It's good to have you. And we're looking forward to hearing from you tonight.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
All right, Godfrey.
Yes, man. Good. Did we lose Doc? Did we lose Doc Scholar? It seems so.
No, I don't know. He muted thing and we see the books.
Yeah, but look, come back.
What's Kala saying about me?
Man muted thing and we see the books.
Boy, no, not books.
Library.
I got a call and I had to take the call, so I just wanted to do it off the camera.
All right.
So Godfrey, so did you welcome the guest?
Yeah, well, you see, Scholar was right. You mute your thing and you go about your business. So.
Good night, Mr. Brave Boy.
Good night, Doc. Good night, Doc.
All right.
Yeah. So guys, you know, keeping with the normal scheme of things, Scholar the word for tonight. So we go deal with the word, and then once Doc break it down for us and he'll calculate us on the meaning, and so then we go move into the thing. So Scholar, what is the word for tonight, boy?
All right, well, Doc, the word for tonight, I decided I will be easy on you tonight. So the word for tonight is
You could be hard because I have help. I bring help.
No, you don't need help for that one. The word is easy word is a 3-letter word. So that is to tell you how easy. 3 letters. Right? So I don't think you will have a problem with that one tonight. So the word for tonight is UPS. UPS. UPS.
But there's a marble tom.
So it is a marble tom. but there is also another term. So you're starting good. What is it in marble terms?
The marble thumb, you have to hold, you holding the marble on top, like by your knee, and you pitching it against one on the ground. Is that? So you put your hand, you put your hand, I try to, you put your hand something like that. And
that one is ups?
No, I don't. That not ups, man. I don't find that ups.
Ups is you hold the marble like that, and you're trying to plumb it to the next one.
He's spinning.
No, man, that ups, man.
Mr. Brave Boy, I call you to get on the program. Help me, I need help.
Yeah. When you interrupt the marble,
That's
right. Yeah.
and you lose your position, so that is ups.
Yeah. You ups it.
Yeah.
Ups the marble.
And when you have to spin, you draw a perpendicular line with two horizontal, and when you spin the marble that come closest to the line, give you the position in which you have to play.
Right?
Yeah.
But there is another meaning, and it's the more popular meaning, because the truth is that we don't play marble these days.
No.
But we still does ups. So for example, let me give you an example. So for example, America go in Venezuela and they ups on Maduro.
Yeah, they ups on it.
They ups on Maduro. A woman ups on a man.
Yeah. But I like the example you give here, the ups on Maduro. After they, I go add a little something to that, because I mean they just go hand in hand. So after they ups on him, what they do?
They haps him up.
They haps him up and go with it. They haps him up and go with it.
Yeah. So go ahead now. Up. So you get the flavor.
No, I thought you were doing a good job.
No. I tell you, I give you it in terms of a sentence, so you know how to delineate.
That's right. You know the delineator.
That reminds me of the oil, boy. That reminds me of oil. Anyway, so that means to almost ambush. You attack, you come onto somebody, you ups on them, you almost ambush them, or you overpower them with your force. So that is the only meaning that come to mind. You know, Rajal?
God.
But let me tell you, the thing about ups, he had to explain that. You know. Let me tell you, there are these words that we know exactly what they mean. When we use it, we know what it means. But when you have to, according to scholar, when you have to delineate, no, that's where the problem comes in. But I mean, you upset somebody. I mean, boy, I know the thing, you know, but it's how to.
When you upset somebody, you come onto somebody. I don't know if the term is. You don't always have to be very aggressive, but you have some level of aggression to it. But it's like a mild attack. I would say that it's like a mild attack on the person to overcome the person.
Yeah,
I think your take, scholar.
Yeah, I think scholars, when you sure on somebody, like you sure on them, like you know, well, they can't handle you, so you just ups on them and just give them a two slap, just because you know he had no repercussions.
Yeah, I'm saying that you could also ups on them unexpectedly.
When ups is always unexpected.
Yeah, they are not expecting you to come on them at that point in time.
Yeah.
So Godfrey, Godfrey, Livingston. So you and a man can square up and you are upping.
No. You're not man square up with ups on the man, because ups have to be as almost like an ambush. If you ups on a man, is generally you go up to the person, almost like an ambush, I would say. But if you want somebody square, then you don't ups on it.
No, but ups on an ambush, because to ups on a man, right? So you ups on the man. And you hit him at two backs.
Yeah, but I tell you, when you sure on a man,
The act of hitting him with 2 bucks is not optional. You do that first before you hit him with 2 bucks.
Yeah, the ups. And then you just
ups on him and then hit him at 2 bucks.
That was say. That I believe you, when you show on a man.
You sure on a man?
Yeah, I mean like you have to give a man a 2 bucks, and you know well. You could just ups on him and give him 2 bucks and he can't do nothing. So you could just ups on him.
Yeah, but yeah, enough man at ups on man. And
they get man house back on them out.
They get you right. Because you could ups up on a man and get you right. But
yeah, I guess.
always seems to be followed by some kind of violent kind of thing. You know? Some kind of violent kind of thing. Because if for example, Reece ups on Doc.
Yeah, forget that.
Forget that.
Doc should have a bad way. If he,
and we have
I'll cry silently.
Hold on. We have a caller on the line. Maybe that caller on the share like a thing. Let's take a quick call. We culture. Good evening. Well, we lost the caller. All right. But I mean, I think we get the real gist of the ups. Yeah.
So then what is hops up?
Well,
Hops up is basically pick up and go. Or it could be you personally. It could be you personally, or it could be an object. You get up and you move quickly, like suddenly. So you hops up. So it's a quick activity.
You hops it up.
And you just,
You just hops it up.
You hops up and go. You just pick up something quickly and you just hops up and go. So it's almost like as an afterthought. It's like
so you can hops up. You can hops up and go.
No, you can hops up and go.
Yeah, man, hops up. Listen, hops up could mean thief too, you know.
No, hops up generally mean when you say you just hops up and usually hops up go with go. Go with go. Yeah, because it means that it's something you do and it seems like almost like it was not premeditated. It's like it just come to you as a sudden, spontaneous activity. So you just hops up and go. Meaning without even saying goodbye, you just hops up, you move suddenly. Or you pick up something and you move quickly. So you just hops up and go.
Well, I mean, that could be, but I also believe, Doc, you don't necessarily always have to be going. For example, let's say me and you, Lyman, we're taking a 2 drink.
Yeah.
And Scholar just come and he just hops up the drink and just drink it.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, you hops it up and just...
You just pick up the drink. So I say either you person or the thing. So he just hops up a drink. Or you just remove it, you just hops up the thing and... So you don't have to take it all physically, but the fact that you remove it from where it was, you just hops it up.
Yeah,
that's what I tell you, so you don't have to go.
You don't have to
go.
No, but if it's you personally, when you say you hops up and go, it means you go. But you could hops up a thing.
You could hops up something.
You could hops up something.
But you don't have to go.
You take it out from the position where it was, and you could put it have it in your own body, on your own person. Or you hops it up from where it was.
So let me ask a question.
Okay, so
let's say
you just hops up the child, a child on the ground, and there seems to be the child in danger. So you just hops up the child from that.
So I want to ask a question. So if Reece go in her effect, let's say when she was much younger, she go in Black Hole, and she ain't supposed to go.
Yeah.
And then 6, 7 o'clock, outside to get dark.
And
she mother fly down. I just hops up. Just hops up. She hops on her first. And then she just hops up and go with her.
And go. Yes, that's what it is. The same thing to remove from wheresoever she was.
Right, so she hops up.
The same thing to remove from your original place.
Nah, man.
Next place.
Listen to me. Hops up is always followed. If you check it out, you're going to hops up and you're going to hops up and go.
Yeah.
So if you hops up and go.
But right? Hops up and go is
like Reece now. Where Reece is, you know, I don't know if she hops up that boca time.
She
hops up that boca time and put it in she leg.
And she played, she was smiling and thinking, Reece, good night. Good night, darling. Yeah. What happened to you? Why are you looking at though? You are somewhere and Nala haps you up and bring you home though?
I'm tired. I hops up myself.
You hops up yourself?
Guys, we have a guest.
Yeah. So, no, we see her to say good night. You see her say good night yet? Do you see well just with she jacket and thing she? Nice independence colors and
she boca tie.
And she nice hair. Nice hair and things. Yeah, she colonial hairstyle. You muted.
I just came from work. I'm tired.
So you're going to walk with boca tie?
Boca sports today.
Long I know you need to change his glasses and them, you don't do it often enough. Years ago you used to have some nice glasses. These days you just have old people glasses on. So you
raise up that tie. Raise the tie, let me see.
That's not Boca's tie. That is actually a tie with a sort of tealish blue, light blue and black. So I don't know how that becomes Boca.
So where you have some that?
And when I say tie and them, Sekou don't want to wear fat tie. He said he's tying them fat. So I have a whole bag of tie, real tie, you know, because you only want to wear slim tie. You know, like he and King, they don't wear fat tie. So I wear no fat tie and them.
Anyway, say good night and let me go to
the guest. Say good night and let me go to the guest, man.
Everyone, my apologies for being late, but I just came from the 9 to 5, which happened to have been 9 to 8:15. Well, 8:30 to 8:15, yeah.
So, folks, tonight we're talking some heavy talk, and we have a guest, Mr. Brave Boy. So, let me introduce. Let me do an introduction that way. Now, all of us here know that they used to call Livingston Pumpkin, or they are still calling Pumpkin. Now, he get a name because he had a fella used to play cricket, and he feel he was a fast bowler. All he used to do was jump high in the air. And by the time he reached back down the ground, the ball, when he bowl the ball, you see that them right in according to Pumpkin's Douglas on the part. So Doc used to try to be a fast bowler, jumping high and come back down and getting him Pumpkin. So since Doc feel he was a fast bowler, Doc, we would allow you to open the bowling on Brother Delbert. So the ball is yours.
All right. So good night, everyone. Tonight we have what I consider to be a very distinguished guest, Mr. Delbert Brave Boy. He's a local historian. He's somebody I found out to have extraordinary memory, particularly in terms of details of what took place over the last, I would say, 80, 90 years in Grenada. I don't know if you go beyond that, but he has a very in-depth memory of things. And I spoke to him on many occasions, but recently we spoke a lot about independence. And I thought it would be what the Grenadians in the diaspora can benefit from what he has to say. So tonight we want to look, we just want to welcome you, Mr. Delbert Brave Boy. So I just want to tell the listeners of We Culture and our colleagues, just, say good night. Say good night.
Good night, Brother Livingston, and good night to Godfrey and Scholar and my Sam and the listening public to We Culture.
Wow. You look like you crab that.
No.
That's okay. You know everybody's name.
Hold on.
Be Sam. You know how long again nobody say Be Sam.
It's a program I've been looking over the years, It's a program I've been looking over the years, looking at,
Vex.
I've never heard nobody, people on the program doesn't say Miss Sam. Anyway, but that is nice. You make her feel good. At least you put some smile.
I work in
No. I don't understand this. You make her feel good.
You see,
Godfrey,
I work in Goa for a while.
Losing it,
Yeah.
I think my husband losing it.
Well, listen, I don't have to fix it. Just ups on him. Just ups on him.
So, Doc, let me ask her if she was related to Cable Sam, you know, a golf mass producer.
Well, of
You used to-
course. That was my granduncle.
Right, Cable man.
Right.
Yeah.
They know good people.
And he portrayed a lot of carnival portrayal in golf.
Oh, nice. He used to do traditional mass.
Yeah.
Right.
Revolt of the Slave was one of his top portrayals.
Yes. I heard he did a lot of things to do with Caesar and a lot of traditional.
I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do live after them, and the good is often told with the bones. So let it deal with Caesar. If there is any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar, so he might say that Brutus' love for Caesar was not yet his. But if that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Had you loved Caesar less, and your love Rome more, had you rather Caesar were living to die all slaves, than that Caesar is dead to live all freeman.
What? If I was by you, I was looking for bull, no?
That time, mass used to have storylines. There was research being done because the portrayal had to be as close to the real thing as possible. I heard a lot about materials. That time there used to be materials in mass, you know.
So
the home of the Vecor.
Yeah. Well.
Reece, you forgetting one thing.
What's that?
Think about it. That was a time when what? And how you call your granduncle? Kibo?
Uncle Kibo.
Kibo son, yeah.
Yes.
And that was him just to raise them goat and sheep and them for pet?
No. You're like too much of confusion. He was a fisherman.
But she tell us that. But Reece tell us that one thing.
She said, "Father, fine."
That's it. You know. My husband, you're getting back into good graces there, you know. Yes.
Anyway, Mr.
I spoke about.
Go ahead.
Yes, very good. So, what we sometimes, we tend to miss out and about the social condition that was existing in Grenada. But particularly tonight, we want to look at what we call the road to independence. What led to that movement? We know that Gary was, Eric Matthew Gary played an important role in propelling that struggle, that movement. And so, Mr. Braveboy, one I would like you to first describe, was Gary a visionary? That is one. And secondly, I know in discussion you mentioned about 1951 and Skyred. Was Skyred the precursor that started the real movement towards lifting the consciousness of Grenadian and eventual independence? And then later on in 51, I know we had, we got our franchise. So can you just... Adult suffrage, right. So can you, was Gary a visionary? And if so, what was some of the things you would say that you can equip him as being a visionary?
Doc, hold on, eh? For my own edification, before you ask Mr. Braveboy that long book, I want to ask Mr. Braveboy a more simple question so that he could enter into his deliberations. Who really is Delbert Braveboy?
Well, Delbert Braveboy is from Bush Grove. I live in the Palms in Lower Capital. You must have known I spell with my daughter. She's in the same profession like you. You know, you must know Magdalene Carmichael. She's a teacher at Matthews RC School.
I know you're good, you know. I know all those kids who is just
There's a good interjection, scholar.
Yeah. Well, I know you're good too on the little hill going into Folder by the barbecue, man, you know.
Nah, I don't want people to know where I stay, you know, Mr.
No, man, it's not a security threat. Because you just run on the road with your two little foot like two little stick. I don't know what you want to lose. What you're training for?
Next thing you make some money.
What event you training for?
That training for?
Yeah.
I just play the fool. All right,
so let's get to be funny thing.
Yeah, so let's go. With that.
All right, okay, man. All right. So now, first of all, Eric Matthew Gary from Paul St. Andrews can be considered Paul or Paradise, whichever way geography tells you, was a visionary. His first job was a school teacher at the Lafayette RC School. Then he migrated to Trinidad after World War II to work on the Chaguaramas base. Spent a short time there, then went to Aruba to work with the Lago Company, where he learned trade unionism and returned to Grenada in 1949. Gary started his movement from an injustice that was met out to one of the tenants on the Lassages estate. In those days, when people worked on the estate, they gave them a portion of land so that they could farm on, because the wages was so low, it was unable to sustain them. So they had to make little gardens and so for their sustenance. And when that person was evicted without compensation, that is when the Gary movement started, and he organized the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union. That union would now represent the estate workers, which we refer to as laborers at the time. These people who worked on the road, you call them travel. People in the sanitation area, you call them scavengers. Those were at the lowest rung of the social and economic ladder. The workers on the estate, they worked for the men for 42 cents, or a shilling and 9 pence, as it was in those days, and the women for a shilling and 6 pence, now in our time, 36 cents. And so Mr. Gary organizes people into the union and to represent them so that they will get a better wages and better working condition, because they never knew when work started. 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, but they never knew when work would end. Work would end, especially the women in the bouquets, when they are finished mixing the nutmeg for the cocoa day. It's after you finish, put the cocoa into the fermentary and so you never knew exactly when your day's work was finished. When your task was finished, then your day's work was finished. And so that aspect of the oppression of the people by the plantocracy created a movement of 1951 when Eric Matthew Gary, President General of the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union, called a national strike on February 19th, 1951. The acting governor at the time, Mr. G.C. Green, understanding what Mr. Gary was doing, then sent a telegram to England to the Governor Rundell, who was holidaying in England at the time, explaining to him that the movement that is taking place in Grenada, if it should come true, the Grenada police force would not be able to handle the situation. And so the Home Office from England then sent in a battleship to assist the police in Grenada. So the HMS Devonshire came into Grenada about the 17th of February. That did not stop a people who was so oppressed and who found a leader that could alleviate, they believed who could alleviate the problem. So that was the beginning of the movement of Eric Matthew Gary.
So I wanted to go a little bit more into Sky Red, like what actually happened in Sky Red. Why did it get its name Sky Red?
Okay, well, Sky Red, no, Gascoigne Blaise, the General Secretary of the Union, was arrested up on St. John Street. He was heading to the seat of Parliament at York House, and the police blocked them, and Gascoigne Blaise, the General Secretary, was arrested. Then Gary followed, and he also was arrested and put onto the battleship, and they took him to Carriacou, and he was exiled in Montreal in one of the government houses. The striking workers then started looting and burning the bouquets and other properties of the estate owners. And that is what is referred to as Sky Red. And like I told you, Livingston, in our earlier program, that even the Bushgrove Government School, which was established in 1884, and the Belmont Government School was casualties of Sky Red. So 2 schools were casualties of Sky Red. But we must look now at the benefits that came out from that protest. In that, the wages was accomplished. Now, the GC Green then told our Governor Arundel that the situation is becoming worse. And therefore, Arundel shortened his holidays and returned to Grenada with a labor commissioner to settle the issue. Because at that time, Grenada did not have any person who was, say like a labor commissioner. There was no person who was so trained in labor disputes. And that was the first ever labor dispute in Grenada. And so Mr. Baruch was sent to accompany Governor Arundel to settle the issue. And that was done sometime in March. Mr. Geary was brought back to exile to do the negotiation. The negotiation took place. Work time was established, holiday pays, severance pay, and so forth. And the workers were satisfied with the outcome. And so work was resumed. And as a result of the successful strike, the Grenada Manual and Mentors Workers Union, the union, under the leadership of Eric Mathieu Gary, then organized the first political party in Grenada, the Grenada United Labour Party. On the 10th of October 1951, the Grenadians of all walks of life above the age of 21 was able to vote. Before that period, you look at, and I'll shortly here to up to 1947, only 4% of the population had the right to vote. Even teachers, police, top civil servants did not have a franchise because the earning was too low. So you had to be a member of the plantocracy. You have to have big holdings. You must be a merchant. You must be an estate owner in order to vote. And that is why they did not recognize the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union, because the plantocracy was in charge of everything in Grenada. And these low-income workers had no representation. They only had representation when the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union became a bargaining agent. And that union organized the Grenada United Labour Party. 1951, the party was successful at the polls, and so they ruled the legislative from that time for quite a number of years.
We are all now. I don't have to ask all the questions, so go ahead.
Yeah. Sky Red talk about it?
Yeah, he spoke about Sky Red.
Yeah? I thought I heard you talk about Sky Red. I listened to you about Sky Red. I don't find I hear much about Sky Red. Let me ask Mr. Burbo a question. That might be a funny question for you. But it don't matter because everything happened long and he passed long. It's a funny question, a personal question as well, right? Because that era you're speaking about it, you lived in that era, or that thing you hear and you read?
Read and heard.
Read and heard.
Established facts, yes.
Right, okay. I
And about
thought you had lived in
here.
that. I thought you had lived in that year because I'm just going to ask you if you was a whole golf.
Still a goal.
You a golf out here, right?
Yeah. Once a game, right, always a game, right.
Man.
We might vote for other political parties, but once you're a goal, you're a goal.
Alright. Yeah, but Doc,
Golf is embedded. Golf is embedded in you. Yeah? Golf is embedded in you.
I hear that.
I say golf is something that is embedded in you. So you might.
Okay.
Nah, man.
Okay, let me show it. Let me show it. Right?
Hold on. Listen to me. They bury golf in the center cemetery.
That's what we just say. But you see, the movement, the consciousness. You see, what golf did cannot be erased from our history.
Right.
For instance, scholar, right? In 1962, okay?
Right. Yeah.
A lot of gold voted for GNP, you know.
Why?
Because Bless promised to take Grenada to Unitary State of Trinidad and Tobago, and they'll get 3 times the salary we was getting in Grenada.
Yeah, well, that man must not go up.
You know, I tell you. Yeah, because no man, the salary, the whole salary thing was the catch, and even Grenadians who was living in Trinidad came to Grenada to entice people to vote for the GNP. I don't understand. The GNP and no PNM is celebrating 70 years. Okay, GNP would also celebrate 70 years this year, you know, because in 1956. When Eric Williams' contract was not renewed with the UN as a historical researcher, he then said to the organization, if you do not want to hear me as a historical researcher, you would hear me as a legislator. Thus was born the PNM in Woodford Square. In a similar manner, in Grenada, all the opponents of Gary from 1951 to 1956 was brought under one umbrella by Dr. John Watts. That the middle class was brought together by Dr. John Watts, saying, look, man, all of us running independently against Gary. Sometimes when you add up, we vote, we get more than him, but we can't be the man. So let us form ourselves into a party like he is doing and defeating us.
Right.
So you understand what happened? Yeah. So GNP was the second party that was formed after GLP, right?
So let me ask a question, Mr. Brave Boy.
Call me Delbert, man.
Right, cool. Yeah, lovely. So in the height of Gary's going on in Grenada around that time, 49, 50, and so on and so on, what influence did T.A. Marichaud have around that period? Because he was, I mean, prior to that, I know he was a prominent politician. And from what I learned, as the years went by, he started to lose popularity because he became a member of the, what do you call it, the executive, whatever it was. And so he was not as popular as he was. So during that time, Gary was here and was, doing all of that. Was there still any influence from T.A. Marichaud around that period?
Marichaud has never lost his popularity or his influence in Grenada, especially when you look at Marichaud's involvement in West Indian politics and his writings in the West Indian, that West Indies must be for West Indians. So, but Marichaud never aligned with any political party. Marichaud ruled the tongue. That was the mantra of Marichaud was in the tongue of St. George. He never went out of the tongue. He never was part of any political party, but Marichaud was always elected up to 19 1957, a few months or a year before his death, Marisho was always elected in the town. So Marisho has never lost his prominence.
Well,
He had never
okay.
lost his-
I know he never lost his seat, but I mean, the history has shown that in the later years, he barely. I mean, while he won, but it was marginal. He had lost significant popularity.
That's a fact, because in 1957, Louise LaHaye, one of the first Grenadian women on mainland Grenada, challenged Marisho in the 1957 election, and he won by a narrow margin. So that is correct. So
I have a question.
yeah.
Based on what you were saying about Marisho and his popularity and being in town and all of that, would you liken Marisho to Peter David? And in terms of the future, do you have an expectation of similar as would have happened to Marisho in terms of popularity?
Okay, that's
Putting you on the spot?
That's a nice question. That's a nice question, Reece. Personally, I think that Peter has lost some popularity in the town. It could also be a time, I don't want to be so drastic, but he could be singing the swan song. Because when you look at last election, that Peter was only able to win the town by 200 votes, and at this point in time, I think Peter has an uphill task on his hand, because if you're coming into a 3-horse race now, and seeing how well the NDC did in the town last election, to me, even though you have 50% deflection from the NNP to Peter David with some of his personal support that he might muster, I am not certain that he could come through. So to put it in the same context like Marisho, one could say that Peter could be losing popularity in the town in the same way like Marisho lost popularity in the town, although he won it in 1957, but the margin was extremely small.
Right. I want to jump on that. I want to jump up a little bit on that, based on the explanation that you've given.
I was going to tell him let's move back to independence, but here you want to jump up on that?
Yeah, I want to jump on something there, because I like his analysis. So let's liken that now based on what you said, and you mentioned the margin of victory of Peter David in the town, 200 votes. How would you liken that to the now leader of the NNP, who in a previous election won by 1,100, but in the last election barely, just a little over 100? Do you think that she's lost popularity, and could you safely say that she's losing?
I will not say she'll be good. What happened there? You have to understand that election, there was a 10% or 12% movement in the electoral process.
But so that doesn't apply to Peter David?
He lost some too.
I'm saying to you that in a three-way race, no, I think it could be a difficult situation for both of them.
Okay. Right. So Reece, back to independence. You muted Reece.
I said yes, back to independence.
So Mr. Bravoy, what significant happened in the 1960s? So we were in the 50s, 51. Of course, we had Janet in 55. I think Janet played a very important role.
Oh yeah. He destroyed
Halloween. Eric Mashigiri at that time to lead the distribution of Janet houses, etc. But if we move, what happened in the election of you mentioned that Herbert Blaise platform was that of unitary state.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So can you take it from the unitary state, and what was Gary's platform, and what was the fallout thereafter?
Okay. No, we have to understand, okay, that the election of 1962, Grenada was at a political crossroad. The government of Eric Mashigiri was dissolved for squandermania. The federation collapsed. So we were at a political crossroad. And therefore, the theme of Mr. Blaze at that time was a unitary state with Trinidad and Tobago. Even though Eric Williams, after getting independence, he said that 1 from 10 lives not. So that means that Eric Williams was not willing to have another burden on his hand, because Tobago, which was removed from Grenada in the 1800s, was ceded to Trinidad when the Spaniards were defeated. So he already have Tobago on his hand. And Eric Williams was enjoying OPEC price for gas and oil. But in any event, Grenadians who lived in Trinidad and understand at that point in time that the GNP and the PNM came into being the same time. So they felt that if they could forge an alliance with Trinidad, a unitary state with Trinidad and Tobago, then there'll be freedom of movement between Grenada and Trinidad. And like I said, a lot of Grenadians, even gay rights, voted for the GNP in that election. It was a very close contested election. There was a lot of discrepancy in Gov between McDonald Welsh and Hubert Prudhomme. Eventually, McDonald Welsh was declared the winner, and the GNP got 6 seats, and the JLP got 4 seats. So the GNP was in office from 1962 to 1967. Now, in 1967, the GNP lost the election. And if it's one time in Grenada that symbols mattered, was in 1967. Hubert Blaze failed to take Grenada to a unitary state with Trinidad and Tobago. And in 1967, in 1962, the symbol was the broom. They swept, they got into office. In 1967, they came with the torch, a Monsanto. And the estate owners gave the GNP the trucks, and they was going all over Grenada campaigning with a Monsanto every night. And poor Grenadians cried. They cried once more, vengeance. Oh God, they want to bring us back under the cocoa with the Monsanto. That was the end of the GNP. Because the work time was established. People used to leave the estate with Monsanto to come home. Children went to sleep without dinner. So when in 1967, they came back with that symbol, that destroyed the GNP, and they got, and the GLP got 8 seats, and the GNP got St. Patrick with W. Copeland, and not St. Patrick, but the tongue of St. George with CPO, and Carriacou with Hubert Blaze. And from that time, the GNP never got back into office.
That is very interesting. You see what symbolism can do?
Yeah.
Symbolism just broke, based on what you're saying to us here, it broke GNP.
Yes.
Wow. Just wow.
So there's a very interesting part that, some people believe that Eric Matthew Geary was, he robbed the coffers. Can you tell us what really took place in Squandermania? And yeah.
Okay, understand, right? No, Geary is the politician in Grenada that went through the most battles. In 1957, the election of 1957, Geary was defranchised. It is said that a Stillman from Belmont, his supporters, went and they break up L.A. Postle meeting in Lamode. L.A. Postle, a PDM candidate, got 945 votes. M.A. Bullen, GNP, got 950 votes. Eric Matthew Geary, 2,900 votes, yet Eric Matthew Geary was defranchised because his supporters break up LA meeting, so LA didn't win the election. In 1961, so they gave Geary 5 years ban. In 1961, 10 constituency was now established. So Miss Sam got her independence, so she was separated from St. Mark. So St. Mark and St. John were separated, and the parish of St. George was divided into north and south. So St. George, who had 2 constituencies, they come now and they have 3. So that gives us 10 constituencies.
Mm.
No.
Hey.
All right. Joshua Thorne, who was elected on a ticket of the Grenada United Labour Party to represent South St. George, then resigned. And Mr. Gary contested the by-election, won that election in the Cane Belt, as we call the South at that time, and he became the chief minister. Because when Mr. Gary was defranchised, city barrister G.E.D. Klein led the Grenada United Labour Party victoriously. So G.E.D. Klein was the second chief minister of Grenada. H.A. Blaise was the first chief minister of Grenada. Ministries came into Grenada on the 1st of January 1960. Before that, what we had was departments. And so the legislators became ministers. The CEO in the departments who trained the legislators for 1 year for the transition from the legislative to the executive council, and the executive council to the legislative council to the House of Representatives and the Senate. So the CEO in the departments now became the permanent secretary in the ministries that was departments. So when Mr. Gary returned to office, Mr. Klein stepped down as chief minister, and Mr. Gary became chief minister and minister of finance, renovated Montreal, and he bought a grand piano, the biggest one that was on the island, for Montreal. And when he was asked why, and he said that Blaise and his children plays with the piano, but his wife and daughters plays the piano, because you remember his wife used to be the organist at the Catholic Church in St. David. J.M. Lloyd, the then administrator, informed England, because he was getting granted aid from England at the time, that Mr. Gary is squandering the money in Grenada and he's not using the money in the direction in which it was designated for. So the Gary government was dissolved for squandermania in 1961. And in 1962, we saw the election in 1961, the election in 1962. And the GNP won 1962.
So the squandermania was based on the purchase of a piano?
Yes, more or less. The renovation of Montreal and the purchase. That was the straw that broke the camel back, the grand piano.
Yeah, but I guess you're correct, because straw broke the camel back, because we all used to hear stories that Gary was a flashy man.
Gary
finer things in life. You know, from ladies go back down and see Gary well dressed. Yeah, and he had lavish parties and so on. So I guess all that was part of the whole.
Yes, because he was expecting just forget the lady name, but he was expecting some big artists to come, operas to come at Montreal. You know, so he had to furnish them with that kind of piano.
Mm.
So Mr. Revoy, move us along again. So let us pass. Where were we? 70.
Hold on, Doc. Reece, are there any comments? Anything we leave out all the people? We leave out all the people.
In terms of what we are discussing right now, there isn't any comment except Alroy spoke to the popularity of Peter David, his opinion. He said, I don't understand why y'all think Peter is popular. Do a poll. See how popular Peter is. Simple. On the We Culture YouTube page, I am not seeing any comments. Yeah, there's none.
Okay, Reece. So your first parliamentary representative was Hubert Freedom.
Okay, and that's a relative.
Yeah, that was your first parliamentary representative.
Yeah.
So I think.
So, Doc, before you go, Doc, let's take a telephone call. The phone has been going a bit.
Yeah.
So let's. We Culture. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, I'm fine. The program is very interesting. The thing I want to know, Uncle Gary was always my favorite, right? And he used to be doing certain things that used to really help jeopardize him. Because he used to support the Mongoose gang, and the Mongoose gang coming and thieving your thing, and nobody couldn't say nothing. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and nobody couldn't say nothing. Because when he had made the people too, he came down Granite and he said, Dawson, I think we can eat a cow. And Mr. Dawson said, oh God, Uncle, all them cow and them full, they're belly big. He said, okay, forget that. We're going to eat a bull. He said, you know what he go to and say? He said, Uncle, oh God, them bull full too.
The bull full?
Yeah. Well, that has been always a joke. They had to meet the people to Alfonso Hill and the Finton village there, you know. And then, so he went by Dawson, and Dawson had a lot of livestock at the time, and he said, well, we'll have a bull from Mr. Kelly's, and he said, but sir, the bull's full, and that did with Dawson for the rest of his life. Well, I think you must understand the Mongoose gang. Gary did not create a Mongoose gang. Now, in the late 60s, rabies was rampant in the country caused by mongoose. So there was a program from PAHO for the eradication of mongoose. So you had mongoose traps, you had poisons for mongoose, and they went into the forest. They set mongoose traps, and in many different areas around livestock and so forth. And there was also a ban on hunting wild meat. Like tattoo and manico, so forth, because there are no poison in the area. Because many times people go to the lands and the cow dead, beaten by a mongoose, and they will die from rabies. And so a vaccine was also introduced by the World Health Organization, and we still vaccine or livestock to save them, to protect them against rabies. So it is true that there was a number of guys who worked with the mongoose gang that had devious behavior, and they were known to the police. But to say that Gary started a mongoose gang like what you had in Haiti with Papa Doc is much different to that.
All right. That is very important to know.
Right.
I think what really happened, you want to say something?
Yeah, let's just take a call. Let's just go back to the telephone. Yeah. We Culture, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, caller.
Yeah, and let me say good night to all the other personnel there. Very extra interested conversation. Some of it I would have heard already, and some I'm learning. But very serious concentration there, and I feel happy to hear it. We have to understand that the split up of those political parties now is somewhat different to before. And I don't think where we have the split up there, we're going to see any much coming out of the split up. For instance, like with Peter David and whatnot, I don't think he have a chance of winning or collecting other candidates to win a seat. So we may not have much. I think it would be NMP, NDC in the race. But we have to remember also that if it wasn't for Mr. Kit Mitchell, Dr. Kit Mitchell, NMP would have been a die party already too. Right? NMP would have been a die party. NDC would not have won. So our politics is taking a different shape there now. And I don't know what will happen with the next election. I can't predict the next election, but I will want and hope that the NMP could win. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, caller.
Before
Godfrey,
I go,
Godfrey, let me tell you this, eh?
Yeah.
I don't think that we could really subscribe and say that Grenada is a two-party state. Because
that is exactly.
when we had 8 constituencies, we had 4 parties running and they got 2 seats, and even independent. T.A. Marisho won independently in the Tonga St. George, and R.K. Douglas won independently in North St. Andrew. So I don't think it is correct, it's just a perception that is a two-party state, because the other 2 parties maybe was never challenged by other strong political parties. In the 90s we had NNP, we had TNP, we had NDC, we had GLP contesting in the 90s. So it depends on how on your program, or what are your projection, and how the electorate will gravitate to you. So I'm not subscribing to a two-party state in any event.
All right. So I want to ask you a question, but I also want to say something, Godfrey. NGM was a third party and they emerged. NDC was a third party and they emerged. So siding with Mr. Braveboy, that things can happen. When NGM came into being, they came as a third party. But that isn't me. I want to go back to independence. So in 1972, on the road to independence, something significant happened. Well, maybe in 1967, when the idea of independence came and we got our marching orders, as you would say, from England. And what was the marching orders?
Okay. No. First of all, let us look at 1966, right? Which we could look at as the stepping stone to independence. Because March 3rd, 1966, we were given what we refer to statehood, which is self-internal government. And Mr. Hubert Blaze became the premier of Grenada. We also had our own anthem, Hope for our Future. We had a national flag, blue, yellow, and green, with a nutmeg in the middle. So the British government was responsible for foreign affairs and defense. The GNP lost the election of 1967. And so when Mr. Gary was returned to office in 1967, he then approached the British government for full independence as they had in Trinidad and Jamaica at the time. But the British government gave Mr. Gary a precondition in order that he should get independence, and that was, you must go back to the electorate, you must get 26 2/3 and 2 1/3 percentage of the seats, and it have to be, like I said, on your manifesto, and your people must vote. So, in order that you should get independence. So in 1972, we can refer 1972 as a referendum election to independence. And from 10 constituencies, 5 new constituencies were added. In the parish of St. George, you had the tongue, north, and south. The north was divided into northwest and northeast, and the south was divided into southeast and southwest. St. Patrick had 1 constituency, and another one was added, St. Patrick East, St. Patrick West. St. Andrew had 2 constituencies, South St. Andrew, North St. Andrew, and that was divided into northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. And that is how we came up. We had 15 constituencies for that referendum. The election was won by the Grenada United Labour Party 13-2. winning the tongue of St. George for the first time, and also for the first time in the history of Grenada, a candidate lost an election by 1 vote. St. Patrick West was won by Wellington Friday, who resigned as principal of MacDonald College to contest the election on a ticket of the GNP, and he won that election by 1 vote. 1884 Winston White, 1885 Wellington Friday. So that referendum was the precursor to our election. So Mr. Gary,
our independence,
accomplished the requisite that was required by the British government. But you also have to understand that there was a number of disruptions within that period. As a matter of fact, we can talk about independence if you don't talk about at least Bloody Sunday. How that came about. On the 4th of November 1973, the New Jewel movement, that time Maurice Bishop, whose party in St. George, Movement for the Assembly of the People, MAP, that was like a stillborn baby. So then he joined with Teddy Victor and Unison Whiteman and Sambas and Teddy Victor in St. David, who are the Jewel movement. And that's when the name, the New Jewel movement, came, when Maurice Bishop got involved with them. So on the 4th of November 1973, they went into Simon and they had a trial of Eric Matthew Gary in what was referred to as the People's Court. About 20 or more charges were brought against Gary that he was found guilty on. And he was given instruction to hand over himself to the nearest police station, and that he must resign by the 18th of November. Right? So on November 18th, which is known as Bloody Sunday, when the New Jewel movement rolled into St. Andrews, there was met with some serious resistance from the Gary forces.
so hold on. So in other words, they look for the blows then, because you could go and try up, they look for the blows. So as far as I see, Bloody Sunday was justified. I mean, I just get to realize that Bloody Sunday was justified.
Go into our history and understand. On the 4th of November 1973, in the Simon Pavilion, then the People's Court was established. The People's Court. And an ultimatum was given to Mr. Gary to resign, even though he had 13 seats in the parliament. Wellington Friday resigned from the GNP, joined Gary. Gary made him Minister of Education, so only for be alone in the opposition.
Wow.
Bishop can't take that. So they want Uncle to resign. And Uncle say, I have a mandate from the people. Come and face the music.
Proper thing, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're getting good.
It should come out. It should come out. So what was so that was Bloody Sunday. What was different? Yes. So I want us to maybe move to Bloody Monday now, because time creeping up.
Hold on before you go. Let me just quickly on the Bloody Sunday.
Yes.
So was it the Mongoose gang who was responsible for setting Bishop and them straight, or it was what? Police or whatever?
Combined forces.
So the people set them straight.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And you have to understand, they had to praise Innocent Belma, you know, even though Innocent Belma was the shortest lived minister in Grenada, right? Innocent Belma saved the day for them, you know. And when I say Innocent Belma, the shortest lived minister, on the 3rd of January 1978, Innocent Belma was made the junior minister of agriculture to the lead minister A.O.T. Rebon. And on the 4th of January, celebrating his elevation, he was gunned down about 7:30 the night at Bamboo Bar in Adelphi Bush Grove. So one day minister, Innocent Belma.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second representative of Northwest St. Andrew, Miss Nadia Benjamin, was the first representative of Northwest, licking away Uncle Ben.
Do you know what was Innocent Belma's last words before he died?
No, I don't have it on record.
He said, tell the Prime Minister goodbye.
Okay.
Those were his last words. Yeah.
Some people in Broadgrove said that his wife told him, "Oh, where you going? You have gun. Well, leave the gun home." So he was unarmed that night, because there's also a story about Belma. You know, I said at time fella say, you ask him what's the time, and he draw. He said 2:45.
Oh God!
You said Belma.
Godfrey, I didn't know that one. I thought I nurse at the time said that Belma on his dying bed, when they asked him, to take off his boots. Maybe that was not his last words, but he said, "I would die with my boots on." He refused to take off his boots.
Nah, I could tell you I know for certain that was his last words.
Yeah. You know, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we go. So look at Bloody Sunday. That was the ultimatum. And you also have to understand too that Dame Hilda Bino was put under pressure to resign 3 weeks before independence. All right, that was the 14th of January. Dame Hilda Bino had resigned, so Grenada was without a governor general. But Gary went and he got a veteran of World War II in the name of Leo de Gale, who was a member of the Canadian Defense Force who fought in the 1945 war, who was also the chairman of the Public Service Commission. And so de Gale took up the position as governor. It was a time of turmoil, and for three months, you have to understand, for 3 months, even a Roman Catholic priest, Father Alexander, was in the match. G.O. go, Gary must go. G.O. go, Gary must go.
So let's just take a quick call. We have a caller on the line. Oui Culture, good evening. Oh, sorry, we lost that. We lost that call.
So Godfrey, after 3 months, G.O. go, Gary must go. The boys came down. They went to Montreal. And they said that they would give them a certain drink. And they started to march from Montreal, come downtown to the carriage. You will behave yourself, they go try someone. One day strike down, 3 months, Gary must go. One day, Gary, you will behave yourself, that done. Next thing, independence for Gary.
Let's try the call again. Oui Culture, good evening.
Good night.
Good evening, caller. Yes.
I want to thank that gentleman for so much of good knowledge. That is a man we have to preserve. He have everything so right. A lot of these things, my granny told me about these things. And the thing about Sky Red, the only thing I didn't hear him mention is when, after 3 days, they had to bring back Mr. Gary immediately with that bottle sip when the people start to revolt. Yeah, but he have everything intact. He have good knowledge about everything because my granny told me that. And then the thing with
it was 11 days. It was 11 days later, call.
And then
12 days later.
And then the one with Miss Bino, they had one. Gary bring Hilda, and Hilda bring Peter. Hilda says she's splitting, but Gary still shitting. Because I used to be in all the demonstration, So that was some of the things. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, thank you, caller. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Just for information's sake, I just want to make a quick note on that. In 1951, right? 2 of the successful candidates of the Grenada United Labour Party, the daughter and granddaughter, became governor and governor general of Grenada. Joseph Gibbs represented St. David from 1951 to 1961. His daughter, Ms. Bino, became the first female governor in the Caribbean and also the first local governor. Our last governor, Mr. Ian Tubbott, came from New Zealand. So from Ms. Bino to now is local governor. Our present-day governor, her grandfather, Cyril St. Bernard Sylvester, won Carriacou, and the only time Gary won Carriacou was in 1951 with Cyril St. Bernard Sylvester, who is the grandfather of Dame Cecile Lagedad. He died 1 year later. His wife, popularly known in Carriacou as Mama Eva, contested a by-election. She also was successful, became the first female politician in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Mama Eva, Grenada, first female politician. Grandmother. So when we're talking about Petite Martinique, Carriacou, Grenada, Dame Cecile Lagedad, grandmother is from Petite Martinique. Her grandfather and mother is from Carriacou. And her father, A.A. Lagedad, is from Grenada. So she's representing the entire dry island state of Petite Martinique, Grenada, Carriacou.
All right. Let's take another call quickly. Oui Culture, good evening. Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yes,
yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Yes.
Godfrey, yes, the guest has a lot of information, but I'd like to correct him here. On May the 3rd, he said May the 3rd, 1966, he gave the Associated Stated. Well, it was May the 3rd, 1967, that Hubble Basic came our first premiere. And on 24th of August, 1967, Eric Gary defeated Hubble Basic election was held. And in 1972, again, he went to the campaign on independence, and he called the election 4 years earlier in 1976. So 1976. In 1976. So I'm going to give you because he wanted another mandate again. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also in 1976, we stole our March. If I said Tola May, it was a mistake. It was March 3rd. March 3rd. Look back at our history. You see, and in 1976, when all the opposition forces under what is known as the
Alliance.
People's Alliance.
The Alliance came together, and they said, Gary freed the youths. He didn't even reduce the age from 21 to 18. He lost some seats, but that election was at 9-6, and we have at 9-6 today. So that is second at 9-6. But it is Gary who reduced the age from 21 to 18, so teenagers could vote today.
Okay, interesting. So
those are some real interesting information. I wanted to read two comments.
Yeah.
We had Nigel John saying, I have the election results from 1951 to present, but I am too busy right now to make a contribution. I am driving. And then we have Ms. Jerome. She's saying the name Mongoose Gang came as a result of and she put in inverted marks, quality of persons Uncle Gary used to do his dirty work for him. Gary was known to be always nicely dressed. One was heard to say Gary and clothes were made for each other. So those were two contributors.
Yeah, but you see, like I said, yes, we have guys who work in the organization, but you have to understand it was a PAHO supported by the World Health Organization. It was not the government of Grenada who paid the guys who worked in the Mongoose Gang. It was to eradicate Mongoose, to minimize
Eradication Gang.
To minimize the rabies that was on the island at the time. That is it. You know, that is genesis. That is genesis of the Mongoose Gang.
Yeah, well, that's true, but I believe the Mongoose Gang had extracurricular activities.
Because okay, if you come behind me with a gang, you want me to resign. You doing everything against me. I ain't gonna sit with my hand behind my back, scholar. Any man stay with the hand tied behind my back?
Scholar, maybe it's possible that the origin is, as Mr. Braveboy, well, he asked us to call him Delbert, says, I believe that, but I'm in agreement with you that maybe some of them got carried away. And because they were members of the Mongoose Gang in its original structure, and started getting involved in this kind of, as the caller say, dirty works, it gave the Mongoose gang a different meaning later on.
I believe so too.
That even those who were probably purely dealing with the Mongoose situation, they got tied up in that bad rep that others probably caused.
So, Skulls, so in other words...
I agree with you, Reece, because, you know, there were these two brothers, and you know, well, they're dead now, so you can call the name, Pram and Willie Bishop. There was people who was known to the police, but they was given a job hoping that they go change their way. But at the same time, they got carried away.
That is what I wanted to put here. That those guys are the most selected because they were, wheresoever they were village badgers.
Yeah.
And so what the intention was to quell the conflict in the various villages. So they were recruited and joined the Mongoose eradication gang. That's what it was called. What if it happened that, I think as appreciation or gratitude, because nobody was studying them, nobody was employing them, they then felt a loyalty and a gratitude towards Gary. So any threat that came to Gary, they were willing and ready to deal with any opposition towards Gary. For a matter of fact, they were so trusty that at one time, when the group of 22 gathered, Gary said he's recruiting the Roughies, Toughies.
The Roughies are the Toughies.
So those guys, yeah?
Yeah, but Godfrey and Delbert, they're right. So there was the Mongoose gang, right?
Yes, let's go.
Those Delbert kind of rabies eradication. I guess they found out how rabies to eradicate.
Yes.
But there was the Mongoose gang.
Yeah. But we're talking about the origin.
Hold on. Who was secret police? Because you had Mongoose gang. You had secret police. I don't know if that was synonymous, that was same thing. And then you still had Green Beast here.
No, you see again, that was the name that was given to the defense force members when we got independence. Because when Trinidad and Jamaica got independence, they recruited people from Grenada to go to Jamaica to serve in their regiment. So when we got independence, we had our regiment. We had our regiment too, and because they closed, they call them Green Beat. So you see again, there was always this connotation. Anything Gary do, it was labeled. Gary in Carriacou, people born in place in Grenada, Sky Red. People working on to eradicate Mongoose, Gary have Mongoose gang. Gary created the defense force. Gary have Green Beast. Nobody's telling you that when Gary challenged the educational system in England, right? That was handed down to us, that he said that education now, you must have vocational and technical schools. So GSS, Boca, Happy Hill, Hillsborough Secondary, Waltham, Montrose Comprehensive. All these schools were built under Gary so that you must not go to school, and they were called junior secondary schools. You must not go to school for 5 years, to attend 6 or 7 subjects and come out empty-handed. You must be able to learn a skill, whether it's electrical, whether it's mechanic, whether it's music, whether it's art. As a matter of fact, Polo Hamilton was sent to Mona in Jamaica to master his skill. Gordon Hamilton, as an artist, to go around the different schools and to teach. We had Technical and Vocational Institute, which is now T.A. Marshall Community College, well supported by the Canadian government. But every time you hear about Gary, Mongoose gang. Mongoose gang.
Let me just say.
But Scholar, hold on, Scholar. I just want to make one input. Yeah, let me just say that Gary was basically marginalized, and he was marginalized for several reasons. And I just wanted to say that. One, because of his location. 2, because of his skin tone and color. And so the whole plantocracy, the whole state resisted Gary, and no matter what he did, he was wrong. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I mean, Gary faced everything in his color. He was so splendid.
Let me tell you something, because I start from the early premise. I figure out all the. I figure you are all golf man.
I am golf. Yeah.
Gary man. Because you slant. Right. So it's good.
Let me tell you something.
Hold on. Hold on. Right. So I figure you out all this. So your slant will always be sympathetic to Gary. So Gary didn't know green beast was mongoose, them manuals of thing, and so on. All right, fine. But I think this whole thing comes in the same way in which when we speak of Bishop and Godfrey opposition to Bishop, and I think it's the same thing we're dealing with, because nobody could doubt, and I don't think anybody has doubted ever that Gary did not do some incredible things for Grenada. Nobody doubting that. I've never heard anybody say nay as it relates to this. But my father is 89, so he experienced things that you read in book and people tell you. Like he experienced them, and he was politically active around that time. And he does listen to this program a lot, and I'm sure he troops it now, because I just hear tales and so on. My father giving me of how mongoose gang near kill him and how he had to go and ride below a house, and he listening them. On top, they asking for him to kill him and all this kind of thing. So I know for a fact, because he experienced them. You see, he's 89 now, almost going on 90. And he bought him good. So you see, his experience is an experience that you're discounting.
No, I'm not discounting.
Yes, I'm not discounting it.
I said,
when you say
no, scholar. No, scholar. They were members of the mongoose gang who was known to the police. This is not defending them. But I'm saying to you that when you say green beast, that was our defense force. But yes, I'm not discounting the fact. No, let us not argue. I'm not discounting the fact that there was guys in that gang who was known to the police and created a number of acts that was not lawful, or a lot of people feared for their life. But you have to also understand, was a counterattack. When you look at the Caribbean, so Walter Rodney, McCandless Dagger, Peter Josie, George Odlum, Tim Hector, Ralph Gonzalez, the revolutionaries, the Marxists, Leninists, who came back from universities with a mantra to take over the government by any means necessary.
And that's my point exactly. You see, every time you make it, you're making the point for me. That's the point you're making. You're making it for me. So what you're actually doing...
Is he wrong, Skull? But is he wrong? Is he lying?
Doc, I know what I'm telling you. He's making it for me.
You have your lens, I have my lens.
He's doing,
so we see from two different lenses.
What he's doing, right? And let me just give me a thing, because I think I will sum up with that, right? I ain't going to speak again. But what he's doing, and he's giving a lot of information, a lot of things that we don't know, but he's slanting it, right? You could tell. So there is a bias, really, in terms of, just as how Godfrey does cause about Bishop, it's the same thing that is happening here. It's the same thing that is happening here, right? There's nobody who ever does say Bishop don't do good, right? But you can't say Bishop didn't do bad, and you should just dismiss anybody who says Bishop do bad as nonsense. It's the same way. It's the same way. Because when he speaks of things, hold on. You speak a lot. Let me just say that. When you speak of things, right, that the mongoose and the green beast and so on, yeah, but then you come and you say, but look, he built school and he built what and what, and it is what and what, and it. So it's like, whatever it is that is said bad about Gary, and as far as you're concerned, right, based on what I'm getting, is that there was no gang that used to beat people in the name of Gary.
No. You have it all wrong. Like I say, you're looking at it from a different lens, scholar. You're looking at it from a different lens. I've never said that they was not involved in those activities. I told you on the 18th of November when they came to Grenville. What happened? You understand? I told you on January 24th, Bloody Monday, that how they disrupted the protest against independence, you know.
And when they somebody get.
Yeah?
And it is somebody get.
Me not say that, Jed. Me not say that. Me not say this. They look for it. They look for it, Jed. They look for it. In other words, let me tell you. In other words, what happened?
Guys, I have a question.
In other words,
I have a question.
In other words, scholar.
Past the time.
In other words, scholar.
Past the time. And I have a serious question for Mr. Brave Boy. I'll give my opinion on stuff after, but I have a question. The question is, Mr. Brave Boy, do you consider, based on your knowledge that you've acquired about Gary, would you consider him to be a national hero?
Yes.
Okay, and why?
Okay. Gary is the liberator, one of the liberators of our country. You have to look, like I say, if you go back to the 51 era, that alone in itself tell you, and because no other politician in Grenada had to come up against battleships from England. On the 13th of March, 1951, Agatha Fraser, Snell Fraser, and John Duncan was gone down in Latant. And Mr. Gary survived all of that and still was elected and still moved the Grenada from one stage to the next. And you have to understand that the supporters of Gary, they had a mantra, and their mantra was, we'll never let our leader fall.
Of course, but
at the ending of the strike, our flag shall rise. From 1951 to the 7th of February 1974, the flag was risen. We sang Hail Grenada, land of our city. The Union Jack was dropped, and we stopped singing God Save Our Gracious Queen. Eric Matthew Gary, hero of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Matlick. Put him up on the board in wherever you want to position it, in Cameroon Park or anywhere. Gary is a national hero.
Yeah.
So can I take some comments?
Yeah, take some comments. Yeah. Because
So I have here that Alroy Philip is saying this guy is trying to polish Gary's image. Marilyn Bretcher says, I appreciate the gentleman's knowledge of our history and what happened during those times in politics. But the new Jewel movement made me leave Grenada. It ripped apart our family because my mom used to vote for GULP. And Bishop arrested her and put her in Richmond prison. None of these people were perfect. She said, Scholar, it looks like you know everything. And Alroy said, so Bishop just get up one morning and have a revolution? Audie Francis says the guy's name as Mongoose Gang went around in vehicles throwing stones, smashing people's homes. GNP, that's a fact. I guess it's GNP home, is it? And she said that's a fact. Let me see if there's anything here on. There's nothing on the YouTube. Let me check to see if there's anything on WhatsApp. No, there's nothing on WhatsApp. So, guys, you're all pretty. You all need to behave. You're all pretty, okay? You're pretty.
So
I don't think we at the time,
we out of time. We
I don't think we at the time, but I think it was more opposition to the Jewel movement.
Yeah. Well, guys, look, we out of time. I guess it's the conversation. There's a lot more, but we can see where we go from here. But let me give at least a minute So Skulls, take your minute first.
And I think
Doc, you go.
Well, I would like to thank Mr. Braveboy. I think it was very enlightening, very informative. I believe.
Mr. to come back. Because
so I can thank him.
I have to agree with Mr. Braveboy.
Yeah, okay. So I think for me, the era and Gary's role was one, the greatest transfer of wealth took place in Grenada in his time between the rich and the poor. So I see him in a very as an enlightened leader. So hopefully we can continue that conversation, Godfrey.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
Reece, you're fine now.
Partner take less than a minute, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm very grateful to Mr. Braveboy for the knowledge that he has shared with us. I believe in everything. There's always propaganda in every era, in every situation. There's always propaganda, and that growing up, I never really used to hear much good things about Gary. Actually, I don't remember hearing good things, except for when I became an adult and had this consciousness about his contribution towards independence, that he took us to independence. But prior to that and after that, is like there was a lot of bad things that I heard about him. So I want to believe that there were good things that he's done, and Mr. Braveboy spoke about some of them in terms of the schools and all of that. So I'm grateful for that knowledge about some of the good things that he has done. So, but it doesn't take away that, like much leaders and most leaders, they have their two sides, the good and the bad, the things that we know and the things that we don't know. So I want to believe that existed when it comes to Gary. That is why from everything that we heard, the callers and all that, people had different experiences. The people who contributed on Facebook, they had different experiences. So some may have seen Gary as good and some maybe have seen him as bad. I want to agree with you, though, Mr. Braveboy, about him being recognized as a national hero, because I don't believe that you have to be perfect or that you have to do everything like a saint to be recognized for the great things that you have done. If you go to look at everything in that clinical way, we might find that maybe Kirani James is the only national hero that we have, because there's nothing bad about Kirani, right? We have to give Jack his jacket and Jane her whatever, but yeah, so that's my contribution, and I'm looking forward to having more of these kinds of conversation, even if it is with Mr. Braveboy again. But I think a lot of people learned things tonight, which is what is the purpose of the program.
Yes, indeed. Well,
hold on.
Yeah?
Hey, Scala.
What?
Go ahead, my king. My king.
No.
You always have the flow.
Question. What do you have bad about me?
What is that bad about you?
Godfrey time up them, cut Scala.
About you?
Anyway, let me also join. Let me join Skull, Reece and Doc and so on, and everybody else in thanking Mr. Braveboy for accepting the invitation. Quite a lot was said, and I found it very, very interesting, But for me tonight, the highlight of tonight is when them fellas in Grenville up someone bishop on them and kill them a good quarters. Bloody Sunday. So folks, and Skull, I don't like that, but they upset them and give them a proper, teach them what it means, teach them the understanding of the people's code. The people try them, send the guy to upset them and deal with them properly. Anyway, folks, that's all the time we have. Bro, I gave you time to talk. You say you don't want to talk. We go what?
They have some the country from Gary.
No, ask which country from Gary what? Listen to me. Hold on.
What in
Mr. Braveboy said it mentioned all the things Gary had to go through, battleship, this, that, all kind of thing, and he was able to go through it. two bullet bishop and them get and they couldn't go through.
Did you give Mr. Brave Boy a last minute?
Mr. Brave Boy?
Yeah, yes.
Mr.
Brave Boy,
Mr. Brave Boy,
Mr. Brave Boy, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay, Godfrey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, in this 1 minute, what I would like to see is the national flag of Grenada on display in this independence. Our national flag of 1974 is locked in a vault at the museum. What we have today is not Uncle Gary flag, it's not the independence flag. The nutmeg don't have no mace on it in the first instance. And our flag do not have any yellow. It's red, green, and gold. And in my final say, I will close with this words. Whatever your work and whatever is what, no matter how strong or clever, someone would sneer if you pause to hear and scoff at your best endeavor. Though the house applaud while the artist plays, and a smiling world adores him, someone is there with an envied air to see that the acting bows him. Thank you very much, Mr. Livingston Nelson, and your host. Thank you very kindly for having me on your program this evening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Kindly.
Thank you much, caller. Thank to all our friends, our listeners. We'll be back next Thursday for more discussion. Do have a good night. All the best.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.